welcome to another episode of Button Mashers. Today's episode, we're talking about Lisa Brown, or aka Professor Brown, landing a major gig at EA. Like and subscribe, and we'll get into the content. Anyways, this is thanks to Smash Day T, who covered this. I just saw this online last night actually. I was like, oh, I gotta cover this because this is gonna be interesting. So Lisa Brown, aka Professor Brown, was one of the workers at Concord, who sort of worked on Concord, and they were under the alias of Professor Brown. I wonder why. So yeah. First, I'm gonna say, please do not harass this person. Sort of, want to use this as a jumping point to commentate more on industry and what's going on. And honestly, I don't condone harassing I'll be honest, of anyone, especially trying to get them, kicked out of the workplace because of political views, because that's just kind of very, like the kids say, gives you the ick. But yeah, so here's the thing. They worked on Concord, and you know how well the Concord went. It closed down within a couple of weeks. And do I think that person is all to blame for Concord's decision? No. But at the end of the day, Concord, it's not like it happens, it failed, because you do, if you were like sort of a creative, you do have projects that fail at the end of the day. I don't mean, you know what I'm saying? And sort of failure is a part of life, too. Like, you're gonna fail at the end of the day. That doesn't mean you shouldn't give up. It just is what it is. But the problem is I think this person worked on a spectacular failure. Spectacular failure. Like, it was just one of those things where it was bad. And I remember everyone not liking it because the characters look ugly and stuff. And I'll be honest, when it came to Concord, if it was free to play, I would give it a try, because it's essentially they're putting their money where their mouth is. Like, I honestly, like myself as a podcaster, I can't say I want diverse games with real characters if I'm not going to try it. Like, that sort of feels hypocritical to me. Character designs, I think one of Concord's biggest failures is not going at least free to try, or some kind of free to play model, because at the time you had Overwatch and so many other hero shooters that at the end of the day, the market was sort of flooded. Everyone has this sort of preferred live service game. And also, I think it only being PS is like you could only try it if you're PS Plus member was another sort of knock at it, and I don't think this person had any choice in that decision. With that being said, like I said, it's a spectacular failure. Sure, they had a hand in sort of the ugly character design. I could be wrong, but that's just my thought, that they had a hand in ugly character and hard character design. Like, wow. Game cost over 400 million, to make. So at the end of the day, it wasn't a cheap price. But the problem is honestly, I I'm going to be completely honest. I wouldn't hire anyone or put them in any position of power just because they really fudged the ball on this one. Because that's $400 million. And while, yes, some decisions weren't theirs, like the releasing PS5 exclusive and all that, like releasing a sort of demo on PS5, if you had the Plus, wasn't their idea. But others, like I said, I think were their idea, like the ugly ass character designs. So it's a 400, and plus, like I said, it's $400 million. So I like, if they want to work in the game industry as sort of a coder, and so something along those lines of quality assurance, until they, I guess, the program, that's fine. Granted, I don't think the Western industry is getting with the program. I think Sony's definitely getting with the program and realizing, oh shit, we can't have ship our customers or we're going to lose money. And that's why I think they're sort of kicking out Sweet Baby Ink in that because they realize it. It's just it took too long. But anyways, so now this person, I'm assuming they had connections with the industry, which makes sense because that's how you sometimes you get jobs. It's sad to say, but like my first job was through my sister, so that's just how it works. Do I think it's fair? No. I think there should be, especially depending on the position, there should be better merits, but that's nothing new. That's been around probably since before my time, during my parents' time, and even their time before, where many people got their jobs because they had connections. And this person is just taking advantage of the system that has been already set. I'll be honest. Like, do I think EA is going to lose a lot of money from this mistake? Yes, I agree. I agree with that 100%. But this is just the way the system works. This person is taking advantage of it. Like I honestly can't say they're wrong because, like I said, this has been going on since probably eons. There's literally a word for it called nepotism. So yeah. So apparently they landed a big gig at EA. Don't know what, probably NDA, but all we know is thanks to Smash JT is that they landed a big gig at EA, and it says on the LinkedIn that they're starting a new job at EA, which what, okay. But the problem is at the end of the day, EA is gonna probably regret this decision. Granted, I think this is really on brand for EA. I'll be honest, because they're sort of the type that's like, oh yeah, we like diversity in woke, but we'll charge you $20 for an expansion pack with totally different people. Granted, this is Sims, but this is sort of the vibe I get from EA, where they're just posturing the fact that they're diverse and all that, but when it comes down to it, they're like, yeah, we're gonna take your money. Like, we don't give two shits. And that is to say, maybe the staff cares more, but I just think overall, when it comes to sort of things like profits and stuff, and sort of upper management, that's where it's like, we're just using this as a way to make money. Like, I'm sure there are people who are in the lower rungs of A who are like, yeah, I can get with this and stuff, get with DEI and stuff and all that. But when it comes to the upper management, that's where it's like, they're just probably posturing just to make money. Because and this is just my experience with The Sims 4, they failed a lot. And I mean a lot. Like, they had this sort of like hijab for Middle Eastern representation, but the problem is they had no outfits. Like I sort of live in like where a neighborhood that's full of Middle Eastern people, and so the generation dresses more conservatively than younger ones, and they should sort of have that more conservative clothing to sort of fit the hijab, because a lot of the clothes, especially when it comes to like modesty, it their standards, it really feels out of place, especially when you got this hijab that's sort of loose fitting, and then you got all the clothes that tight fitting. It's like, what the fuck? This doesn't make sense. Like, it it's it doesn't make sense culturally, and also it just doesn't make sense like fashion wise, because in sense the hijab is sort of more looser, and then a tight fitting clothes. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense fashion wise. So I think like a lot of times, especially with EA, it's more of just pandering to shut people up versus actually having a genuine side to it. Tracker record, hiring this person really doesn't, fall too far from the branch or fall too far from reason. Even if they had connections, I wish you the best with this one because they really, really, really fucked up on this one, I'll be honest. Hiring someone who failed, who was one of the leads that failed on a project like Concord is not a good decision at the end of the day. And I think we'll see it. What do you guys think? Make sure you like, subscribe, stay hydrated, stay healthy. Thank you for listening, and have a good one. Take care. Bye.